interest.
Start it.
I'm Adeline Rudolph, by the way,
Yeah,
so
nice to meet
we've
you.
met before, so.
Sorry, I was a few minutes late. I ran into Doug outside, so. checking for a couple minutes.
Heard them?
I'm gonna keep that one, right?
Since you can't stay the whole time, do you wanna, we could start with what you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I want to see what you guys do here, but I do actually have a specific issue. We've got on our town board budget, well, I'm not gonna go through all this, but you all know what it is. There's a note in there about increasing the membership of this committee and also allowing members that aren't residents. I don't have a problem with any of that. I do have a small issue with, it currently reads as a minimum of 5 members without indicating a number of members. For me, that's a concern for a couple reasons. One, it's not in keeping with any of our other committees who all say 5 members, 10 members, 8 members, whatever it may be. But also it makes me worried. Let's say you had 8 members on the committee and 2 of them left, right? So what happens then with, can we advertise that there's a vacancy on the committee? You know, all sorts of things like that it can affect if you don't specify a particular number of members on the committee. And if you want that to be 10, that's probably fine. If you want that to be 6, that's probably fine. I just would like there to be some sort of a number indicating how many members you would like to have, so.
And maintain that number, or the email I got from
Have it-
Doug read like maximum.
Most committees have, you know, they may not be completely full, right? But, and then you can indicate, you know, we have a vacancy on this committee right now. So, for example, I used to be on the Parks and Trails Committee. So when I left, they just advertised the vacancy for it. Sometimes you'll get 4 applications for 1 spot. Sometimes you'll get no applications for 1 spot. And if you're not getting applications coming in and people are interested in it, obviously you're not gonna be able to fill it. So I don't think you need to say, you know, I don't think indicating that the membership is 7 members or 6 members or 8 members or whatever you all were thinking is going to preclude you from having 5 or 6 if that's what you end up with. It's just, there's always an opportunity then for there to be up to that many people on the committee.
I thought it was just a minimum of 5.
If that's how it's written now, I just don't, I don't like having an unspecified, the membership of this committee is X number.
Why was it specified as a minimum of 5? I mean, I
don't
was,
That was,
Ray-
I
Ray
asked
and I
that at
were
the town
both,
board.
you
so.
know, plank owners of this, you know, we're here from the beginning. I don't recall specifying 5. Is there a number or a makeup of specific makeup for the committee that would be,
I
you know,
don't remember
appropriate
there
or
was.
most effective?
I think it used to be 5, like I think it was in there. I think it was originally in there as 5. And my understanding of it is from the last town board meeting, it was in there as 5. You all noticed that you have, I think, 6 or 7 currently as members and that they weren't all necessarily in the town. So I'm really glad that you caught that it wasn't following what it was in there as the actual law for the committee. But then it just switched to minimum of 5 and doesn't have to be a town resident, and the
Oh,
recording secretary doesn't have to be a committee member.
so this was recent.
This is in the town board minutes for me to approve on Monday. And they brought it up as a potential at the last town board meeting that it would be coming up. And I had said at that point, I don't really care as long as you give me a number of members. And
So
They
if
didn't
you
give me a
have
number
a
of
set,
members, so.
set number like that, I think one reason
yeah, this
One
is-
reason we made the decision, I think, was just on the difficulty of finding committee members for
Yeah.
not just us, just.
Any
I-
committee,
yeah.
agreed, yeah,
And you can't do much without at least 5.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you specify, say, 7 or so, and you have trouble finding members, what does that do to your quorum? Or if you only have 5 members, then
Yeah, that's a good point too. And that's the other point too with minimum of 5. What does that do to your quorum as well? You know, I think, I know on the town board, and that's a good question we can ask, but I know on the town board, we're currently at 4 people. We're supposed to be at 5. Our quorum is still 3. So it's, the quorum is based on whatever the membership is supposed to be. So,
Has that
So-
affected your voting? you know, or the
Well,
outcome,
it
or-
does affect our voting in that normally you can have, if two people disagree with something normally on the town board, then it can still go through with three people voting for it. Now, if two people disagree, it can't go forward. But that's only because we're missing that third person, so.
Right.
So that's a quorum's an excellent point, and I think that's an excellent point either direction, if it's a minimum number of people or if it's set at seven
more
or
than-
whatever it is, so. So, but that's, I just, whatever it may be, I'd like it to be more in keeping with all the other town committees without obviously inhibiting you guys from being able to get work done, so.
Bob, to your point, you know, when we started, I think that we had people that were not farmers that had an interest in agriculture. And they served on the committee for a period of time. And, you know, I have no idea where they went to. One guy was like a school superintendent. And he actually was really good. He had really good, you know, thought processes, I thought.
That we're actually on our committee?
Yeah, they were on the committee. If you go
Is that
back.
Don
and you
Ron
take-
maybe?
No, I don't think so. I don't recall. It's been a while, but
I have to look back, because I don't,
if you
I
go
don't
back and
remember
take a
that.
look at the original committee list, not everybody were farmers.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not anymore.
You're an honorary farmer.
And it wasn't actually before. I mean, I
Yeah.
lived on the farm, but
But Ray, once a farmer, always. a farmer.
Exactly. Well, and that's another thing too. It does indicate in here as well that you need to be a member of the, what is it, the farming community or something like that. Hang on. That's in attachment 14. Hang on. So it changes it. Welcome to my life. It changes it to,
Essentially, it's like,
yes, it says. You'll say. hang on. The town board of the town of Canandaigua, blah, 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 establishes the agricultural advisory committee. The committee shall be comprised of a minimum of 5 members from the agricultural community appointed by the town board, including but not limited to producers, educators, landowners, industry professionals, etc. So, and then the other main change is it's a 5-year term versus a 3-year term. Don't know if you guys knew that. And at the first meeting of each year, the Ag Advisory Committee shall select a recording secretary, and they're deleting as from among its members. So it could just be any recording secretary. Those are the main changes to it, so. But, so it does indicate what you need to come from an agricultural community, it's a minimum of 5.
you're stuck here.
stuck.
Here, you're stuck.
5
Can't
years.
get rid of you.
you're the only full-time farmer right now.
Well, it's including but not limited to. So it's pretty broad in that I think anybody with an interest could be part of it, with obviously looking for people that are producers, educators, landowners, or industry professionals. So
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I think everybody else qualifies in those regards.
I hope so. 'Cause the
So,
last thing we want to do is
You
get
need
members
a,
away. I just
you
want
need to
to
make a motion, or do we even need to do that? Can we just do it?
whatever you want to do, it's your committee. I want to be able to bring something back on Monday that's town board that you all are comfortable with. And I wanted to make sure you all were aware of this too before I vote on it in the town board as well, so. But do you want me to bring up the question of the quorum while we've got our town attorney there on Monday and see what he
I was
says
just,
about
I was
that?
just curious, if you set it to
It's
a
a good
number and you
point.
don't have enough members, does it change to
Does the
active
quorum go
members?
with the active members or not? Yeah, I'm not sure on a committee. Obviously, it's different for an elected body. Well, it's one
It'd
specific
just
thing.
be
for an elected
interesting
body,
to
but-
know. I don't know if it will change
Yeah.
their decision, because it's gonna have to be what it is, but.
So we might just table it till we have those answers, or we can make a decision on it if you want. I don't know what you guys are comfortable. You have 6 members right now, or what do you have right now?
Yeah. Actually,
Fernando's not here tonight.
yeah, so 5 members.
Yeah.
Because Linda's not, she comes to meetings, but is not technically a member.
But you'd like to have that person as a member.
Yeah, but I think we've communicated that to her, and I really don't know. I guess we gotta ask her again.
Okay. Well,
She's
and-
active, she does come to meetings, and she is a farmer.
She would be a good representative.
Mhm.
Well, obviously, we're never gonna want to turn away people that want to volunteer and help
Oh,
out the
Why
town.
why
so-
would you?
Yeah, so I mean, if somebody's found a place that makes sense for them, I mean, you can create alternates as well, but I think that's a little too muddied for a committee.
Yeah, I mean, if we have, say we have 6, but we have 2 more that really want to be involved, there's no reason that they can't be involved, they're just not, I guess
They're
they can't vote.
All these meetings are open to the public,
Yeah.
so anybody can come and give their opinion in
Yeah.
any of their committee meetings at any time, but it's whether or not you want, how many voting members, and the other thing to think about when you have voting members of a committee is if you want an even number so that they can tie, or if you want to keep that odd, so.
Things move along pretty quickly here, and we tend to
Yeah.
vote pretty much unanimously
Mhm.
across the board.
And the other question I would have is if you want to strictly to define a quorum,
Mhm.
what
We could
difference?
define a quorum of 3 if we wanted
Yeah,
to as well,
yeah.
so.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Would you want to do that and then just come up with a different a specific number?
We could say 7 and, leave, and leave 2 spots open for anybody that wants to. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah. So 7, maybe then with a quorum of 4.
If you want, 3 or 4.
That
take
makes
your
it
pick.
kind of hard. I mean, if you don't have 4 show up
Yeah,
some
you
evening
gotta-
and you want to do something,
That's why I'm
you
saying if
can't.
you want, I don't even know if quorums are definable or
Yeah,
not.
why,
I'm not
why,
sure.
why
So-
define the number?
Well,
People, of
yeah.
four, if you would end up with 3 people, you got a quorum of 2.
Well, they're usually defined by the.
They
group.
are?
Yeah,
But you can say majority, not necessarily quorum, because quorum means that you can actually have the meeting. Right?
Mhm. Yeah,
And majority means voting of the members that
Okay.
are present.
I will send an email to our town attorney about this and ask him, and maybe we can get an answer tomorrow before we go to everything on Monday, and then we can decide if you guys can maybe just look for a response on that.
Yeah, I
And
don't want to make it too complicated.
No.
Yeah. I don't either. I just wanted to have it be a clearly defined number is all I'm really looking for.
Okay. I think that number would be 7 then.
Okay,
Then once you just figure,
Yeah.
learn more about the quorum question. then we can-
mhm. Okay, and I'll just hang out and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. for the rest
Well, I
of
was
the
I was just
meeting.
wondering, how do other committees get their members? I mean, does the town advertise?
We do, yeah. When there are openings on a committee, we advertise it. I mean, on our Facebook page. I think they put it actually officially in the newspaper as well. But yeah, like, so I'll take myself as an example. I was on the Trails and Parks Committee for over a decade, and when I went on town board, I could no longer be on that. They just advertised it and got in several different resumes for it, and the Parks Committee would interview people and pick who made sense for joining that committee to go forward. We usually would have several people applying for spots on the Parks Committee, actually, so.
I think that's probably what we should do is get some more members so that when, a few of them aren't, a couple of them aren't here tonight. And so if other people were involved, we could,
And that was again, my concern with the minimum of 5 is when is there a vacancy, like that's. that's- so.
well, I mean, if it was a minimum of 5 and you only had 4 members, that would be.
But if it was a minimum of 5 and you usually had 7 people here and 2 people left, we wouldn't then advertise for a vacancy, you know
Right.
what I mean? Whereas if you were working better with 7 and 7's where it should be, then we would try to advertise for that so that we get you back where you want to be, so.
All right.
We are an advisory committee.
Right,
So, I mean,
nothing we do is,
Cutting
I mean, we're just advising. We're not creating
understand.
laws or doing anything. I mean, it's all advisory. But
But you're on, your stamp's on a lot of maps in this room.
Right.
So it's important, so.
Did planning board and others count on your feedback?
well, I understand that, but
Thank you. Makes me feel important.
I honestly, gentlemen, I can't tell you how many meetings that I go to where we sit and say, is it in the strategic farmland protection area? Is, you know, what, do we want to send this to the ag committee? Hi, did you lose something?
I was just checking one side.
He saw her,
Oh, okay.
he was here before.
He wants to join.
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no, we frequently will be checking for your views and where something is standing. I mean, it comes up in CIC, it comes up in ordinance, I mean, it's a very, that's why I'm feeling like I'm late, having not come to one of your meetings yet. So it's definitely important.
Well, we kind of left off last time talking about the county fair.
We can go into that next. So the farm friendly signs can be displayed at the barns. I think I sent that email out from Casey. So that's no problem. I was not able to get much information from Farm Bureau as far as any of the other stuff we talked about trying to make some other signs about where farm products travel to. So I think maybe for this year, or since we're kind of late getting started, we weren't sure what they were gonna have for anything for presentation availability. Is we had talked about using some of these maps. There's so much information we can use displaying some of this for what the committee is involved with. That might be the best option.
It might involve the conservation committee too. It might be useful at the.
Because it's basically gonna be a static display. There's no presentation or anything this year. And we already have, Sarah already has some information from things we've used in the past
Yeah.
from some things we can put up about the committee. So that was my thought for this year. Let's kind of see how it goes with this different location and the way they want to do it this year and see how it works. And then prepare, like Carrie suggested last time, each month, getting closer to the fair, we can kind of prepare ahead of time. We haven't had a lot of luck in the location that we and others were presenting in the past couple times. So they're moving to a different location, but there's not really an actual presentation this time.
Oh, they are moving us or to
Yeah.
another location.
Yeah, I
Guess
think
I
it's
missed
gonna
that.
be in the pavilion where the bands are and stuff.
Oh, okay, okay.
Instead of in that separate building where like
Yeah,
4-H
yeah.
projects are.
Last
Well,
time,
we were in the newest building. And
Yeah,
it's
way
nice,
out.
but it's way,
It's way
Nobody
down.
knows we're there.
Yeah.
Right,
so I think they were
Which is
gonna put
good
some of
or
these
bad.
displays and stuff in that area for a certain period of time before the band's set up in the evening. So it should get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see if we think the traffic is good enough, then next year there's some possibility of actually doing a presentation during the day. That could be a possibility. So a group of these maps show everything that we and other committees do,
Mhm,
and some of them are overlaid on top of each other too.
mhm.
it's okay with me.
makes sense.
Okay. then-
That's how we vote.
Well, we do actually vote. so
Yeah.
You'll see us do that when we do the, you know,
referrals.
the reviews.
There was another note on the agenda here about 22-23 budget. I'd have to talk to Sarah and Doug a little bit more about that first, because I don't think we put anything in yet.
Who
Yes.
Who normally does that?
Doug's usually involved in that conversation.
What I would think, yeah.
Kate would be able to tell you in a heartbeat if you've got a budget and how much you spent or not spent, so.
One thing I was gonna bring up is, might be good for our committee to donate something to Fun on the Farm, since it's a big ag event in the community this year.
What do you have in mind?
But we have to see what's in the budget first, because that's one thing we've talked about in the past, for the budget to be used for education events or something like that. I don't think we usually even end up using the money very often that's in there.
We bought signs.
Well, we bought the signs, and then over the last couple of years, there hasn't been much to do with COVID. We didn't really do anything.
That's for sure.
So I can follow up with, who was the other name?
Kate,
Kate
Kate
Silverstone.
Silverstone. Yeah, she's like the just amazing budget person that we have in the town. So she'd be able to answer your question in a heartbeat.
I know if we don't ask for anything, we don't get anything, so we should discuss it. And
We don't need much, but
no, but
Well, figure
So-
out what you want to do, if there's a project you want to do, what have you. So we have some extra money
Yeah.
so far, so, I mean,
yeah, we have talked in the past about using it for school field trips and stuff, but even getting the schools to do some of that.
Participate, yeah.
it's
they're
just,
too busy.
well, they're very busy, but at this point, I think it's more about bus drivers. You can't even get the kids to sporting events at this point, much less a field trip anymore. It's crazy.
Well, we'll table that one this time, and I'll either reach out to Kate or Doug about that and see what we have in there. And we can plan, we can see what we've used in the past too, for putting in for the coming year. I guess we'll move on to our referrals. We have two solar. And I don't know, will you have different maps on here than what we received, or is that all that we have? Because I could not tell exactly where these were, and actually when
I
I
know.
talked to Doug, he did not know where they were.
So they talked, and just went through PRC the beginning of this week. So I checked yesterday and there wasn't really anything up yet. I don't know if
Okay.
they say.
Yeah, I
you
checked
guys.
yesterday, there wasn't, but let me check today.
But they're right, one of them's like the corner, you can use it, but if you look at the tax map ID on Encore, it'll pull them up. One of them is the corner of New Michigan, and it's right where the towns come together there, Victor, East Bloomfield, Canandaigua, Farmington, and it's on New Michigan Road and Town Line Road, that
Right
corner.
where
Okay,
I,
So-
that's where I thought one of them must be, but there's
That's
another.
right where.
The other
where
one's
I
up by
live.
Cooley, I think.
Yeah, that's where I
It's
can't
on the
figure out what it is.
South
Cooley?
side, south side
It's on
of
32, right?
County Road 30.
30, sorry.
Okay, it
30
might,
and 32,
it
right?
might be the land I'm thinking of then.
So they're huge. One's
It's the-
30
the
acres,
big-
one's 40
40
acres. So they're big properties.
I don't think they've put it in.
And they're
here
all
yet.
being farmed.
They are all
Yes.
currently being farmed. And we looked them up on the prime soil, I think. The thing that the PRC was saying, they were really interested in hearing from you guys is soil, what your thought was on the soil analysis, because if that's really soil that should be farmed, that's gonna be really important in that consideration process, so.
This is like,
Core.
yeah, it's really slow. It's.
We've got you can, Doug bookmark a page for me that gets it to you quicker. It's like GeoViewer or something like that.
And I know, like both of you mentioned that the planning board really does like to hear what we have to say. I did talk to,
Yes.
I talked to Bob, of course, this morning, he was communicating about solar stuff, and he told me to let everybody know tonight that they really want to hear our thoughts, because they do take them seriously.
And I'm on the ECB with Kimberly as well, and we hear the thing they really, that ag and ECB are the two that they really get a lot of information from and they really take it into consideration.
And just for everyone's knowledge, so they are planning to present, the planning board is planning to present some solar stuff to the ordinance committee. And none of that can just go through right away, so we'll get to see it and there's different ideas, I guess. of what
There's a huge push on for renewables. I know that New York State, the governor, former governor, had this 2030 goal of having 50% renewables by 2030. And all of this solar panel business is just booming, and energy storage on top of it is just booming right now. So it's going to be a lot of confrontation between the municipal government here and developers. And that, I mean, we're an ag community, and if we don't stand up to this, we're no longer going to be an ag community.
The difficult thing that we'll get into, I think we've probably already seen it with some, is that it's almost what you're gonna have pressure from developments. If you do stuff to push that off and make it less feasible, you'd have more solar pressure. I mean, $1,500 an acre per year a lease on solar is pretty enticing to anybody.
For 30 years.
But it has to be at the right location too.
Exactly.
And I was on a webinar about solar projects, and I guess like 90% of them that get into the starting phases never actually go through. These companies, I don't know if they're just trying to get a lot of sites to see what'll work, but most of them don't actually happen.
It's
It's
interesting.
interesting to know. I don't think that's the rate we're at in Canandaigua.
I
So,
remember when I bought my land, there were oil rights, associated with.
And oil
That's
rights.
the
out
County Road
to the
31,
Bristol
right?
Hills.
This is the County Road 30.
Yeah, so that's Cooley coming up there on the right-hand
This
side.
is-
Oh, wow, look at that.
And that's, is that Wilhot? What's going down? McIntyre. What is that?
No, this is Brace Road here, and
Brace,
then you've
okay.
got. They would go on it. so
Just
McDonald.
down into the town of East Spoonfield.
Yeah,
It's a huge piece of property.
Enormous.
Yep.
I believe it's planted in corn right now.
So there's.
That's quite a hill
work.
there too. It's interesting. That's basically center field, right? Coming up there? The Brace Road intersection?
It goes south to Center Fort.
Isn't that that blind hill where Brace Road is? Oh, that's not 5 and 20, that's 30.
No, County Road 30.
Goes
Okay.
down.
So this, the Paddleford Greenway is above this.
Oh, there's New Michigan, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's McCann and Brace over there, okay, got it. So it's the end of McCann Road.
Yeah.
Which is Brace Road.
It's flat. It probably has great soil.
Yeah, it's very flat.
Yeah.
It's Schoharie silt loam, if I remember right.
It's up against, the
Can you
greenway.
do the soil report thing?
The-
You know that?
Yeah, they've already,
Your question was,
yeah, so I can.
I thought you were asking a
No,
question.
I'm
Sarah put
qualifying it,
those together already.
qualifying it, why it should not be developed. From all the things that we've seen, just looking at up here without this information about soil types, it is. I think that when Fernando responded to this, he said that it's definitely a loss of farmland.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's
Well, I
40
would say-
acres. It's crazy.
And it would definitely
It's the
continue to place
project.
pressure on agriculture. development.
Well, prime farmland at that, it's not just.
This is in your new ag overlay district.
Yeah, it would fall into that,
This
which is
side
still,
one.
that's just proposed, it's just that.
It's over here.
It is in that.
Actually, I have to check with Doug on that too, of where that is and what you don't know.
So it's in the Paddleford Brook
Um,
Greenway then.
The ordinance approved it.
Yes.
So it should have moved, it
Prime
moved, that would move
farmland
up to
and prime
the,
farmland.
yeah, and then they would have to do a public
Maybe
hearing.
a little touch of the state. I'm not sure. Is this it? This lot?
This is a-
Am I in the right spot?
Yeah, that's.
There's a-
So it's got the farmland of statewide importance, if we can go off of this, it's got the prime, and it's got the prime of drain. According to this. And it's in the Paddleford Brook Way and the strategic farmland protection area. So
Seems like it's covered.
it's in everything.
Everything.
So. if we
And
were
it- and
to-
it's being used as farmland.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in production.
So
So what do they want to do with it?
put up solar panels.
Oh. How
Yeah.
much?
Probably the whole
40
thing.
acres,
All
yeah.
40 acres it looked like to
I
me.
think it was,
I
it was
could
close to
bring- I could
5,
bring that back up.
close to 5 MW solar.
Yeah, one of them was 5 and the other was 1.9.
This
They're not
is,
gonna
this
fill
is
it.
the project.
They're not gonna fill it.
Well,
You could see there,
at
Ray,
this
on the
point,
map,
they're
she's
not
showing where they
pretty
want
good
to
size.
be.
It
Once
is
they get
for-
all the infrastructure in, they're gonna fill it.
Does it link to any neighboring farms? Is it, it's next to other farms?
Actually, it would be close to a PDR. Rocklebank's
Yep.
farm it,
Yeah,
and it's right near, trying to, I don't remember exactly what land they had in PDR.
I mean, that's important too, to know if it's, obviously we want to keep the adjoining farms as much as possible so that they're easier to maintain.
And I know that the planning board did tell me too, because typically we just vote, it's a loss of farmland, yes or no. But they did say for some of these to add some more comments in there, that they like that.
I think that we've made several comments that it's, number one, it would be a loss of producing farmland. It would go ahead and be a loss of income for the farmer that actually is farming. It is agricultural soil type of statewide importance. Also, prime farmland. Also, it would be considered to be directly within the Greenway, the Paddleford Brook Greenway.
mhm.
And it is adjacent to a PDR. So all of those things and its location within our proposed strategic farmland area, is definitely impacts on loss of agricultural production from the town of Kent.
I have to scoot, gentlemen, I apologize, but thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
I'll send that email and I'll get it back to at least some of you, if Kimberly can help me with that tomorrow and see what our answer is. So,
Very nice
Okay,
feedback.
but thank you, and thanks
you.
for volunteering to be on the committee.
Oh, you're on it.
Now I'm on it. Take care, guys.
Yeah, this one meets pretty much everything of
Yeah.
why to say no.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't have to say much more than add some comments and I don't know how important exact wording is. I don't think it's adjacent to the
Yeah,
PDR, but
looks
it's
like
pretty
that.
close proximity. It might be one road over, so it's.
Its location too, at the north end of the town. I mean, that is a big buffer zone right there from the town of Farmington Creek coming in our direction.
Now, did I understand there, is the town seeking out other alternative places to put these type of things when someone comes in? I mean, is there, it seems to me that's what they should be doing, is finding land that isn't worth much and saying, well, you can't have this one, but we got this one. Land is land as far as a solar farm is. I mean, I know there's some certain things they have to have, but still.
Well, yeah, that would be the same as development. try to move it to a
Yeah,
concentrated
yeah.
area or whatever.
Mhm.
But I know the solar companies do like it close to other utilities. I don't know how these play into that.
Well, what do you do? Yeah.
Well, no, that's, yeah.
We'd like to not have them at all, so
Yeah,
pick your battles here, fellas.
yeah.
Uh,
No, it seemed like you could find some of the land that's, in the white there, not from prime farmland.
Right,
Targeted
right.
towards some of those.
I think it would behoove the town to do that, is to seek out some additional or some prime land that could be.
The only thing you got there is some 34 kV lines that go right by it, but
Would they tie into that?
they go, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
they
so
would
that's-
tie
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so he said in one of the other meetings that the utilities are important for the location of them.
We need a station with inverters to be able to go ahead and take all of that energy and be able to place it into the grid. If that's
Almost,
not
they
available-
would almost tie it right into the grid.
Now, there's another one.
Infrastructure.
So what, we better vote. on
Oh,
this
that's right,
first.
yeah. It's not, it's
So-
two separate ones.
I make a motion that this is loss of valuable farmland.
I second it.
Second, third,
All in favor, say aye.
I mean, we don't count how many members we got here.
All in favor? say
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Yeah. Make the flowery.
Now, this second one, only 12% of it is farmland. This one, like 95% is farmland.
where is it?
I think it's down by Town Line Road. I don't know.
Which
exactly,
town line?
Farmington.
Oh, really?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, that's one that we just.
No, I know, but what he was saying, I remember seeing that.
And like Doug reminded me when I saw him before the meeting that the way the town law is right now on this stuff, it's pretty simple. If it's a loss of farmland, it doesn't happen. So it's pretty simple. Till someone changes something.
Right, well, that's,
You say it's near the town line road?
Yeah.
Gotta be almost my old farm.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because Town Line Road's just above your place, right?
Okay, yeah, that's where I thought it was.
It's right below that, right?
Yeah, that's my,
That's the small one there.
yeah, right here.
You say only 12% of it or something?
That's what it said, but
It looks like it's all farm.
yeah, it does on there.
It's more than that. All the way to the woods.
Looks like it's about 75%.
Yeah,
Let's see.
unless I misread it, which is possible.
Which document were you?
I think the one that shows the soils and like the percentages of,
See, I think that's the project.
That's going east and west, under, good.
Is that an image from the James Webb Telescope?
Let's see, soils.
yeah, the guy that wrote these letters also claimed that we're gonna have better land after 25 years because we won't be taking the nutrients out of it. Farming with solar panels stuck in the ground.
Yeah, would be all kind of.
Gotta dig underneath those.
I was told today they're starting to put them 20 feet in the air so you can try to farm underneath them, but I don't see that very feasible either.
And then
I've
they
seen-
call it,
I've seen them grazing sheep under.
Well, that's what, one of the
Well,
things we're
You
one
can
of the
do
things on
that.
this, I read that they're grazing sheep and something else. I forgot now what they were doing back.
Goats,
There we go.
Is this one? Okay.
Yeah, cropland, 12%. Back up at the top, mowed lawn.
Old field. I do recall in this area, if I'm thinking of the right land, there isn't a whole lot of farming there. It's more like a grassy field.
It says sectional old field is 70%.
Is this
Six-
this
that's
is County Road 30? Is this,
County Road 30,
and this is Michigan?
but almost. all the way to
Cropland is
Tell Lines.
not-
91%.
Maybe she switched them.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not correct.
142 acres,
Well, that's close, probably.
but that's not the one we're talking
What
about.
exactly is a successional old field?
It's just a grassy field.
Why does it have to be old?
Well, there must be, I mean, the soil types look pretty good there, but there must be some reason. Well, Ray, are you familiar with that?
This is not the one we were looking at though.
The,
Scroll up, down. Now this one has got cropland at 91%.
I think they're labeled wrong, though.
This isn't the one we're
This is
talking.
the last one that we looked at.
Oh, okay, 62 acres.
What's the total acreage at the bottom? 62? 62, 62, 62. Frontier Telephone of Rochester, 100%, 62 acres.
And they're only talking about 40 acres. Is that the one that was 40 acres?
The other one was 47 acres from
There were 40 or 30 acres, I think.
There was 40 and 30, but. How many acres on the other one up above total acres?
it says 12,
142.
142.
where's the one we're looking at?
Maybe,
That makes
okay, maybe they are labeled correctly, because that other one, I mean, it's not gonna make a difference in our decision, but we should know what we're looking at. That other one did have some woods and other
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
behind it,
All right,
so maybe that is correct.
that's this one. But
Well,
there's 142 acres total.
there's no gas on that land at all. And even if it were electric, I think is
It's got a honey oil low.
well,
This must be the first one that we looked at, because that was a much bigger area of land.
It's called Harley.
that's
Yeah,
that's
it
not
doesn't
it.
make-
Silk Lake.
Some of it doesn't make sense.
No,
Well, the total acreage is not what we're,
No,
Yeah,
and yeah, either way, it's not gonna change our decision, I don't think.
there's no gas on that land at all.
the one on,
New
New
Michigan. Road?
Michigan Road,
Yep,
because that was right next to where Ray lived.
Okay,
I'm ready.
well. I don't know.
it's the ones Sarah sent me, so I don't know.
This is the right one. No,
Well, it all depends. I mean, the total acreage is 62 acres. And one was 40 and one was 30.
Well, let's look at the map.
Which map do you want?
The first one?
The GPS.
no.
And can we put them up side by side to compare them?
You actually, can't you,
I can click on this and get, tells you the acreage right here. Let's see.
62 acres.
it's okay,
Or where's the 40 acres or 30 acres that they're proposing? Right, middle of it? No, that's.
Shows the whole thing. This one doesn't even really have, the other one had panels not on the map, I think.
Oh, is that what
Is
that was?
that red
I
line?
think that, I thought. it was-
The red boundary
line,
says project area.
And where, oh, so the dotted line, where's the 62 acres or whatever it is?
The red line.
It's either 40 or 30.
Oh. So it doesn't go to the woods yet. You got the,
Yeah, that green stuff there, or brown stuff is probably the woods.
So
and
that's a driveway, right?
But it looks
Right
like,
Yeah.
down through the middle of it.
yeah, and I don't know where that driveway would be.
yeah, the farm itself, wow. That's that horse stable up past your place, right? That silver thing? The old
What?
horse stable? Heading north?
Where?
It's the horse barn there, isn't it? There's an old cow
Upper,
barn.
upper right-hand corner.
Oh,
Is it cow? I thought it was horses, but
Well, I think it's horses now. I think
Yeah.
it's.
is horses.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing's making sense here.
Well, when I talked to Doug earlier, he said this stuff was, he didn't even know where it was and he'd hardly seen any of this. I don't think they planned it very much
He
yet.
lives right around the corner.
They just had this at the PRC the other day, so
Oh.
it's like really new.
So that's why some of these things aren't, maybe is. I
Well-
could, we get, I mean, we can, we're gonna vote. I think they'll know how we'll vote on it anyway, but it would be, can we follow up with Sarah on some confusion on those to make sure that we
Yeah.
have the right information?
So this property is not in production at this point.
No, it's grass. It's grassy area, but nothing being farmed.
Is that the location right where the goats are in the barn?
No, it's north of there.
I believe they were both being farmed. Be easier for you to pull it up. for me.
The one around,
On I think that the application, there's a boxes they have to check on whether it's being
Oh,
farmed or not.
yeah.
well, the one that I'm thinking of is
Oh,
not
the
being
application,
farmed.
That looks like it's being farmed. I mean, the soil's been tilled.
See the application.
I'm surprised that they requested a waiver to not have a professionally prepared site plan.
I would too.
Trying to say,
Is this the one that you were,
Yeah, somewhere in there. I thought it asks if it's being farmed. Maybe it's down a little farther.
let's look at number one.
I'm sorry,
Is the applicant, is the applicant an individual? Is the applicant a corporation? Is the applicant a corporate entity? So is the applicant an individual is NA, but everything else is no? Is the applicant made any agreements contingent on the outcome of this application? No, so there's no contingencies.
Yeah, I thought I saw what you were talking about, that it was farmed. That's why I thought it's kind of stupid for them to even try it, but I guess nothing stupid for
The
that.
telephone
I
number.
know it says
443.
this with the agricultural district.
Well,
Right.
and both, so the other thing that got me, so kind of annoying, that both of these are owned by people out of state.
Mhm.
Well, this person has two addresses. One of them is Fairport, and the same people have down below have an address in
Washington DC.
No,
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 That's-
443 is what area code is 443?
it was like, Virginia or somewhere. I
Oh,
don't know.
the
Was it-
land-
Oh,
Landowner.
the other one, the County
Yes,
Road
but-
30
but
is-
This one too, if you go down farther, that same name,
Yeah, right there, Washington DC.
No,
that's a
that's the
solar,
solar
that's a
company.
solar
Oh.
company.
This is not the property owner.
Okay,
Keep going down, cause I looked it up twice, cause I noticed that it was different.
There's, yeah, there's the proposed
Canada
30
Electric
acres.
Group Proposes 30-acre, 4.8 megamite. For RG&E. Isn't RG&E like Iberdrola? The Spanish company? Owns
Iberdrola, yeah, owned by them, but No.
I guess.
no
Yeah,
fingers.
Yeah, but there's definitely some
Yeah,
connection.
San to Prima.
Yeah. That's the property owner.
Yeah, I know him.
So he lives around here?
Fairport,
Okay.
It's not around here.
no,
I can tell.
Well,
by
okay, yeah, so
Grace.
on
the County Road 31. that
Here's
I
the-
know was-
there's something called the agricultural data statement for this one. The project is located within an ag district, yes. Is any portion of the project currently being farmed? Yes. How many acres? 40 acres. Where does the proposed project site? 40 acres.
And it's a 62 acre parcel though.
Yeah,
So did they buy the whole 62 acres and 40 acres of it are gonna be?
must be.
I
So-
would like to get more clarification.
Number of acres?
Well,
Yeah, farm.
Based on
Well-
the application, though, we really don't need any more clarification. It's clarified that they're farming it.
This does have their address here as Florida.
Oh, right there it says, is any portion of this project site currently
this-
being
this-
farmed? Yes. And G, and G,
Well, I think we can go right down the list and say it is property of significant soil. It would be a loss of farming.
Prime
because it's
farmland.
Currently being farmland would go out of production. It is within the area of the Greenway, correct?
I
Yes.
think it is in the prime farmland.
Yeah,
it's green, and that's, where was it?
Well, that- so
Up here.
that's farther
It's
up.
right here.
this is up here.
It'd be farther up, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's in the green way.
And I don't know exactly where it is here then, but it's in the green.
It's in the strategic farmland area
Yeah.
and Paddleford
Right
Greenway.
here, right here,
It's close to
Where is the property we're
PRC,
talking about?
you know.
right here.
Okay.
Production of development rights, PDR, program,
Right in here.
land.
My place is right here.
Well, that's the other one. But anyway. Yeah, I think what you put down first for that one,
Yeah.
same thing for the second one.
Same
Same
thing, pretty
thing.
much other, yeah, it's not as close to a PDR, but it's
Huh.
not far away either. So,
So one of them lives in Muskie Trail, Bonita Springs, Florida.
and the other property is owned by people in Virginia.
That Florida address is probably Ray, those people, right?
Yeah,
So they live.
I know
there.
Sam, I don't know the Anthony.
So you know Sam, and did Sam move to
That was the
Florida?
first one.
He might have a place in Florida
Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
It's not some.
because he's an older guy,
Yeah. It's
Even
not a
so-
older than
disaster.
me.
Oh, well, that's saying something.
Even so, none of them are living like right there. having
Right.
to live
No,
next to them.
no.
I'd like to be within a half mile.
Isn't he, the Prima, the
Where do you
one that
live?
owns all that
Conroe
land
County.
on 332?
Topima?
Yeah.
He could.
I thought that was all those housing developments in 332.
We're on 332. You gotta be more specific.
Pacific?
Yeah, that's easy for me. You would say.
Well, anywhere from 96 down on 332. Yeah, he bought up all that, you know, that.
For farmland.
Oh, is that I've seen that name. That's the Deprima on the signs.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Where Farm Brook is and all that,
That's not,
it was. He built it all.
no,
Oh, yeah, he did. Okay, the guy I dealt with did, his name was Fremont.
okay,
Somebody want to make a
Spoke.
motion?
spoke with an
Yeah,
Italian.
I make the motion that this would be a significant loss of farmland.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Well, have to hear what gets brought to the ordinance committee on solar stuff. I know one of their, and this doesn't prevent it or anything, they want to have like buffers and trees around them. I don't know what that does other than you don't have to look at them.
That's, yeah, just whether they have to look at it or not.
Where there's a huge one down off of 318, down where the 5 and 20 and 318 come together. Back up, it's just huge.
So I talked to a friend of mine earlier who's on the town board near Casanova. And they had a 1,200 acre proposal.
Yeah.
1,200 acre.
And if they become big enough, the state can overrule any municipalities. I think it's over 25 megawatts.
Yeah, it's a
Really?
megawatt limit. I don't remember.
So then any local laws aren't in effect and the project can go anywhere they want to put it, basically.
So that's what
Oh.
the chess game is to go ahead and get
Oh.
as many megawatts
big,
into it,
big.
and then aggregate it to be able to go ahead and override anything.
It's like,
that the town has to say.
94C or something is there's some state law that goes into effect. It's all part of what you were talking about, get to a certain amount of,
50%
Acre.
by 2030. It's not that far off. There's a lot of focus though on offshore wind. Not necessarily solar, but offshore wind. There's NYSERDA actually is organizing a lot of this. to be
I
able to-
sure that is.
something, I don't want to get too far off. I think we're pretty much done, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of the wind. So I recently saw some turbine blades that had been taken down well before the 20 years they're supposed to last, because they're finding that they're not lasting because of the constant running. They're hitting dust and everything in the air, and it's wearing the edges of the fiberglass off. So
Really?
then they're not efficient anymore.
Yeah,
So
right.
they're having to take them down. And I would think if it's fiberglass, that you could grind them up and recycle it or something, but they're not.
Probably.
But they're not, they're burying them most of the time. They're having trouble disposing of them.
Not the whole tower.
No,
Just-
just
just
blades.
the
blades.
Blades.
Those are big too.
It was down,
Yeah,
we were going to look at some equipment at another farm, it was down near Bath, and they had just piles of them.
Yeah, I've never thought about fiberglass, how do you recycle it
It
or
seemed like you
anything?
could though. Using some
It's
insulation. or
mostly
something.
glass. They should take it, melt it down.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say melt.
So there's an opportunity, to figure out how to recycle
Yeah.
the blades and.
Probably takes up more energy than you're gonna be able to get anything out of it. We used to just send it to China, but they don't want it anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they just send it here now and then we have to. get rid of it.
Okay.
What, Ray, did you have something for us here?
It's just on
Just information.
the old barns.
Can I nominate that we adjourn?
A second.
Gave you two.
So I'll communicate with Sarah too about some of these maps and then we'll have to send some emails around, I guess, when it gets close to the fair about, I mean, we shouldn't need a whole lot of involvement because it's setting some of these things up.
What's the date of the fair?
It's the,
Is it the 19th through the 26th?
Of July.
July,
It's right around
next
the
week.
corner.
yeah,
Next week.
So what,
I'm not gonna be here.
since we're off the record, what are your
Do you-
thoughts on what
do
she
you
was
want
talking
me-
about?
I
Yeah.
can end the recording if it's always.